Hello there and welcome back to another review. So today we're going to be having a look at the Invincible Armour, and this film is everything that a kung fu movie should be. This is one of them films that really does fully embrace what it means by old school kung fu movie. You have everything going on in this one. It's a 5-star kung fu movie, make no mistake about that. It's an absolutely phenomenal kung fu movie that you really must check out. And we've got everything going on in this movie. We've got stars, we've got fights, we've got plot, you name it. We got Jang-lee, we got Hwang Jang, we got See-Yuen, we got Lee Hoi-sang, we even have Yun Bu here in this movie. And it's just been for a long time. Invincible Armour has been one of my favourites. I will get around to reviewing and looking at a lot more Jang-lee movies because he was a big deal. He was a big deal in terms of like the sort of old school kung fu movies. Like he's one of the guys when you think about just old school stars. But one of my all-time favourites, directed by See-Yuen, most famous, of course, for producing like Snake and the Eagle's Shadow and Drunken Master for seasonal films with Jackie Chan. And I think this film was made, I want to say 77. I could be wrong, but I think it was definitely, most of the heyday kung fu movies was 77 to 79, but I think this one was 77. And there's just loads going on. We have a framing plot, awesome kicks, great villain, a villain whose weakness is his testicles, and the whole film is so over the top and is everything a kung fu movie should be. You really do get a real bang for your buck with this. I mean, any film where you have Jang-lee and Hwang Jang, two of the very best kickers that have ever graced the kung fu world, cannot be a bad thing. I will get round to reviewing more Jang-Lee's, as the guy, as I say, he was a big deal. When I was growing up, I was buying like his films on VHS, films like Mars Villa. There was Death Duel of Kung Fu was another one. Just a great performer. Secret Rivals as well. And whilst Jang-Lee was not exactly as big as he could have been, a lot of his productions were mostly sort of independent movies. Didn't have like a big studio behind him. He wasn't like sort of like one of the Golden Harvest sort of guys. You can't deny just how important the man was. But the film here, Invincible Armour, it's daft, it's silly, but God, it's fun. There is so much to be enjoyed here. And it's one like kung fu movie you really must check out. I've read reviews of this where people say the plot is confusing and they didn't like the story, and I actually quite like the story. I think the story is actually, I don't know what they're talking about because I think it's quite. It does throw you a lot at you on the surface, but underneath that the plot is actually quite simple. Where people say the plot is really confusing, it is relatively simple. I think where people get a bit puzzled is some characters seem to appear and come out of nowhere for no reason, but that is all good, and we'll be getting into that, of course, over the procedure of the review. If you have ever seen this movie and are a Jang-Lee fan, by all means let me know below. It'd be nice to hear from any other Jang-Lee fans out there that are fans of his work. As I said, I'd love to hear from you, but I'll be getting into why I think Invincible Armour is just so awesome and why it is easily a 5-star kung fu movie. I'm sorry, but it's just one of them films. If you're a kung fu fan and you don't like this one, I need to know why. Like if you're a kung fu guy, you like kung fu movies, and you don't like this film, you need to give me reasons why you don't like it, because there's so much to be enjoyed here. So we start the film learning about this kung fu technique where you basically are undefeatable using breathing and pressure points as we watch Hwang Jang train. The whole idea is that one of these points must remain open like a breathe gate. Hwang's training involves getting hit by loads of spike balls and even in the crutch, I might add. Also doing the eagle claw and smashing up vases. Starts with Lee Hoi. The film really starts where we meet Lee Hoi-sang's character. But Lee Hoi-sang's actually kept becoming a bit like Wang Lun-wei for me, isn't he? Like whenever I do a Shaw Brothers or a Law Ka-lung review, it's always Wang Lun-wei's in it, and it seems to be a lot of the films I'm reviewing lately. Lee Hoi-sang is always cropping up. He seems to be my new Wang Lun-wei. So as the film starts with him's character Hu Lung being chased by some people who are after his sword. John Liu plays General Chow Wu-fong and wants to know his name after Hu Lung beats the people up. Chow is like a security officer and is tasked with recruiting new fighters for Minister Liu, who he takes him to see. The minister wants to test Hu Lung's skills, and they have like a practice kung fu match, and the film throws you a curveball with Hu Lung actually stabbing and killing the minister. And that's what I do like about this film, because it's not just a one-trick thing. This film it does keep adding to the plot, not necessarily is always necessary, but I do like that they keep on this happens, oh, then this has happened, oh, now this guy's there, and it just keeps on building and building, which I do like. So to say, they do practice like they have like a practice kung fu fight, and Hwang out of nowhere just stabs the sort of the minister, which first time I saw it, I didn't see coming at all, because I thought like him and Jang-lee were sort of becoming friends, and they sort of trusted each other quite quickly. Chow gets accused of the murder as the assassin flees, and they see him next to the minister. I mean, are you seriously telling me that not one person in that courtyard, not one guard, saw the stabbing for whatever reason? Like, Lee Hoi-sang's killed him, he flees, and then John Lu's just like left there. He gets accused of the murder, and there wasn't not one person in that courtyard who actually saw the murder. Just because they see John Lu by the corpse, they just like, nope, you've murdered the minister. Like, they're all totally oblivious, their own minister. So Chow gets accused of the murder and faces death. So that's all that's happened so far. This guy's been killed, John Lu's been framed. Hwang Jang-lee plays Minister Chen, wants Chow taken care of, and he summons Shen-Yu, played by Tino Wong, who loads of you will remember as the guy Jackie Chan beats up in the market, and the early one of the first scenes in Drunken Master, if you know the guy I'm talking about. I think he was in Hitman Hand of Buddha as well with Hwang Jang-lee. And he's the best fighter Cheng has, and wants him to bring in Chow for the murder. Chow stays at a friend's he helped in the past, but gets ambushed as that friend grasses him up. So basically he's like, just, thought I could trust you. He report because he's on the run. This guy's sort of done the dirty on him. So we get the whole being framed on the run motif, much like The Fugitive, really. He's just become The Fugitive. So I love how he knows he is being chased and people want him dead, and he gets some random guy give him like acupuncture in like a tea house with some very sharp noodles. Like, he's on the run, he's being chased, and he's like just sitting in a public tea house letting this stranger just use these needles on him with his for his acupuncture techniques. And of course a fight breaks out, and we get, as always, amazing legwork here from John Lu, even throwing the needles into some guy's head at one point for good measure. You knew with the, like I say, a guy practicing acupuncture, that that's going to be involved. Them needles are going to go somewhere, so they do actually end up in a guy's head. Also love how one guy says, now you have to take on the boss, like he is going to be really hard, and John Lu just whacks him across the face. He is after Hwang and finds out he is on his way to Kunlun. So, like, John Lu's basically just trying to bring the real killer to justice. And randomly, next, Chow has found the killer. Though Shen-Yu intervenes, who allows Hwang to escape. Like, there's a lot of times in this movie where characters just bump into each other just for whatever reason, plot convenience or whatever. So Shen-Yu intervenes. He catches up with John Lu. Hwang, Lee Hoi-sang's character, manages to escape. Then this is what I was saying about earlier about characters just dropping in out of nowhere. Another white-haired kung fu master shows up, turns out to aid Chow so he can escape, who turns out to be Hwang's teacher, played by Phillip, and we learn that Hwang has been expelled from their clan. So there's a lot going on, but it's not really. It's just all it is. So it's just these teachers turned up, but again out of nowhere, just drops from thin air to sort of help him. So Chow goes to this young boy's house. He lives with his sister Sheila, and some thugs show up, and their leader Tan Kyu wants to marry her. Look out for Corey-Yun and Yun Shun-Yi here. And this is why I love this film. We have John Lu, Corey-Yun, one of the Yun clan, and I like to think that sort of maybe they all had a say in the fight scene and what works in the fights in this movie, because you've got a great cast with this one, and it would have been a real shame if it wasn't if they didn't even sort of have a hand in, especially with like Corey-Yun, Yun Shun-Yi there, John Lu, Hwang Jang-lee. I mean, you've got some greats, real greats in this movie. Lee Hoi-sang, nothing short of breathtaking, with what we got here, in terms of the fights. So her little brother's like, beat me in 10 blows and you can have her, and you have to love his confidence, talk like gambling and betting about like his sister. So Chow beats up the goons with his awesome kicks, and it turns out the boy knows the iron armor technique, and they offer to let Chow stay with them. It was his grandfather who taught him Kung Si, I think, who was like a pupil of the Iron Lord, who was mysteriously defeated or something along them lines. Their grandfather, he was mysteriously defeated, but he practiced this technique. Hwang's master wants to know who paid him for killing Minister Lu, because he's sort of, he's gone wrong, he's gone rogue. He finds out and tells him not to leave the house as he is trying to protect him. Chow and the boy start training together and teaches him the iron finger, which is the only technique that can get through the iron armour. So Tan-Ku, the guy who was trying to basically go after his sister, assaults this seller selling herbal remedies, and his guys gets beaten by Shen Yu, who happens to be watching. And there is another guy who has been sent by Cheng to keep an eye on him to make sure he's doing his job. So Hwang Jang-lee's character, let me clear that up, has sent somebody else to sent this guy Shen Yu to sort of bring in Chow. But he's also sent somebody else to spy on Shen Yu to make sure he's doing his job. At the same time, Hulung Lee Hoi Sang's character is on the run, but you've also got his teacher who's trying to protect him to find out why he's done this, and he's stabbed the minister. All the while, Chow has been framed. And it's just there's a lot going on, but under the surface there isn't really a lot going on. I'm probably making it sound a lot more complicated than what it is. So Shen Yu finds where Chow is staying and arrests him. Him and the other guy from Cheng escort him, and he wants to kill him, but Shen Yu is a just man and wants him to have a fair trial. This other guy fights Shen as Liu is handcuffed and gives him 10 strikes. It's usually like, just beat me in 10 strikes and I'll do what you say. Beat me in 3 strikes and I'll do what you say. And that's just what they do here. Chow wins after doing this sort of deal, and Shen Yu gives him 3 days to find the killer, because he wants to give him a fair trial. He's not entirely convinced that he's innocent, and that's the thing with Shen Yu as well. He's doing like Hwang Jang-lee's work, but Hwang Jang-lee's the villain, obviously, but he's still not convinced that he's entirely, like, if this is actually legit. He still thinks, right, I'll tell you what, I'll give you 3 days. If you haven't got it, like the real culprit by then I've got to take you in. You know, he's starting to suspect he's innocent. Oh, by the way, the boy gave Chow a book on the iron finger to take with him as well. Just remember that. So it turns out Hulung's master is Cheng's brother. So that's another thing. Hwang Jang-lee and Phillip Ko, who's the master of Hulung, them two are brothers, okay? And they were both students of iron armour, and Hwang's character also as master, as mentioned earlier, Eagle's Claw. So he tells Hulung that he is coming for him and that his weak spot is his throat. Whole idea is in a nutshell, Cheng out to get rid of a Minister Liu so he can get more power basically, and wants Hulung out of the way as he is a liability. He got him to kill him, but now he wants him dead as well. Like, he's served his purpose, okay? So Hulung pretends to be captured and tied in front of Cheng. Worth noting that Hwang Jang-lee his wig here is a lot better. It's a lot better if you go back to my 36 Deadly Stars review by Joseph Kyo. The wigs in that, oh, they were abomination. They were really, really, really awful. But here, the wigs are a lot better. They look a lot, they look as you think they should. They're not like falling off whenever Hwang Jang-lee does a spin kick or a jump or anything like that. The wigs stay pretty much fixed in place. I mean, the wigs in 36 Deadly Stars were pretty much like just carpet, like doormats on top of people's heads. So, just to say, Hwang Jang-lee, Hulung pretends to be captured. Hwang Jang-lee approaches him. Hulung goes to stab him in the throat, but that is not his weak spot because he's got, like I say, the armour. Hulung's teacher shows up to confront the minister. Then Chow turns up and goes after Hulung. As I say, it seems everyone just knows all the time where everyone is in the movie. This is another thing, like, bearing in mind how big the country is, and everything like that. People just drop in, like I say, out of thin air. They just find each other, like, just randomly. After a fight, Cheng kills Lung's teacher, who thinks his weak spot might be in his testicles. Just as Chow is about to beat Hu, this random red-faced rebel turns up, played by Yoon Shin-yi again as another character who protects Hulung. Awesome fight here between the two, with him using a short staff that turns into a chain whip, and Chow kills him as well. That's what I'm saying. People just drop out of nowhere. They literally come out of nowhere, but it doesn't matter because the film is so fun and so entertaining. You get great stars, you get great fights, you get a plot that is just like advanced all the time, and also tripping over itself at the same time, but it doesn't care. They're really just throwing, it doesn't matter. They're just throwing everything in here. So I'd say then he has to fight Corey Yun, and yes, Yun Bu is here as well. As I say, this is just a kung fu movie that has it all. It really does have it all. So now Shen Yu turns up. It's been 3 days, and even though it all seems like it's just been one afternoon, like he turns up, it's like it's been 3 days, but to us it seems like it's only been like 10 minutes. He's sort of aiding Chow at this point and wants Hulung too, who has gone home to find Hwang Jang-lee waiting for him. Chow and Shen Yu find Hulung dead, So he was just a pawn. So the real killer's been killed. Chow's still, they think he's responsible for the murder. Hwang Jang just wanted the minister out of the way, is all the plot is about, really. Shen releases Chow as he finds evidence on that it was Cheng who was behind it all, and I love how when assassins come after Shen Yu, he stabs one right through the window without looking, because Shen Yu, after seeing the minister, realises there is corruption and says he let Chow go, and he knows sort of who is really behind the killing. So Shen Yu becomes wise to sort of what really is coming on, but there's a moment, like I say, when he's sort of on his own. He's in like this little house, and he like stabs one through the window without looking. It's a little cool, very brief moment, but I did like that. So this is like the final showdown, by the way. At this point, the minister sets his 4 masked bodyguards on him, which wouldn't surprise me if it was Yun Biao and Yun again. Look for this spinning leg move he does a few times over a spear, which is just awesome. Really great stuff. Just incredible spear work here. Cheng, using his iron armour and eagle claw, takes on Shen Yu. He punches the hell out of the minister, but he seems unaffected. Quite cool that Shen Yu takes over from Chow for a bit. That's what's quite cool, thinking about that, actually, that Shen Yu does, he sort of is the main, well, not the main, but he sort of leads the final showdown initially. And he does sort of take over from John Liu's character in a little bit. Like the way the character comes in and the way he sort of gets more involved with the plot is quite cool, because at first you think he's just going to be somebody who's just on John Liu's tail for the vast majority of the movie, but there is a lot more to the character in that. And I do like the fact, like I say, the fact he takes over in Chow for it and actually becomes his story at the end for a brief bit when he goes to take on Minister Cheng. So then Chow turns up, John Liu's character, to aid him, and don't forget he has the iron finger at this point, and actually and narrows down his weak spot, which we see is like, what I love is when he's sort of narrowing down his weak spot, you sort of see it like a targeting system. He's sort of like got a whole RoboCop thing going on. When it could be his head, it could be his armpit, his throat, or one of the choices is the testicles. And it's a real awesome 2 versus 1 fight at the end, which has the whole Pai Mei clan of the White Lotus thing going on with our villain. Then randomly, again, talk about characters just dropping in out of nowhere. Then randomly, the young boy from earlier who gave him the Iron Finger book turns up. He just comes in out of nowhere and basically just shouts out, "Strike him in the balls." He just shouts this out, just drops in out of nowhere. Had no idea they was even there, but he just turns up, shouts that out. Which, when he does, they sync up with the image of him sort of cracking some eggs, because this was sort of what they were practicing, and they sync that up as that sort of like a similar thing. So sort of he's cracking his eggs, he's hit him in the balls. Then his sister turns up, who gets the finishing blow, actually. Again, no idea how they knew where they were. Cheng is dead, and it turns out it was him who killed their grandfather, who was one of the practitioners of the iron armour. So I think I've covered it all. I think I've got through it to the best of my ability, trying to go over the plot of the Invincible Armour. But amazing film, amazing people in this one, a real barnstorming kung fu flick that you have got to check out. So much in this movie, so much to talk about. It's almost like too much of a kung fu movie. It's almost like too much of a good thing in this film, but I absolutely love it. I absolutely think this is a brilliant kung fu movie. Great stars, great fights, plot that twists and turns as it goes along. Doesn't all make sense, but who cares? The film is just really entertaining. So thank you very much indeed for watching. Hope you wasn't too confused by the review, and I'll see you again soon.
Don't concentrate on the finger, or you will miss all that heavenly glory.